Welcome to your mini course, Xero Accounting and Bookkeeping Software Part 2. In this lecture, we will go through finding solutions to some items in Xero. For example, we might have some issues, and my course is not only just about learning how to use Xero, but also how to solve and fix issues that may appear not only with Xero, but any software that you might use. For example, common problems that appears is broken bank link. And what I suggest to do is refresh the bank login by reconnecting the bank. Another problem that might appear is data is out of date. What I highly recommend to do is make schedule for regular bank reconciliation and check the bank report. And also to use bank rules so you can make those reconciliations much faster and more accurately. Sometimes you can also have a problem with missing information if you use a quick edit, and so you need to ensure that you complete all information in full or use a loop to find the data. For the option for multiple invoices, I suggest to print multiple invoices and save them as PDF. Also, for sometimes you have duplicates in contact, and I'll show you in a minute how it can be merged. The other problem is, of course, when you're dealing with lots of projects and you like to see everything detailed from setting up a lead to actually sending an invoice to a client and completing the project. And I highly suggest for you to look at the Workflow Max course, which I'm also running. And if you are services businesses or you have a large number of projects and clients and you want to make sure you have at any point of time in the real data, you have a current situation with any project, I highly recommend you to look at the Workflow Max app, which is integrates beautifully into Xero Accounting software. But let's now have a look at all of those items and how we can solve it. So broken link. When you go into dashboard and connect your bank, sometimes you may see, so when you say something like bank feed is broken, so there is a problem, you basically can go into details and reconnect your bank again. By reconnecting your bank and entering your username and password, you can refresh the link and then this problem will be sorted. The next item on the list is outdated information. The best way to solve this particular problem is to ensure that your bank reconciliation is done regularly. As you can see now, the 29 items are not reconciled. This means you are missing out on information, maybe some invoices or expenses that are not being allocated. What I highly recommend to do is to reconcile it either on a weekly basis or in the daily basis whenever it is possible within your business. And the best way to do it is through a reconciliation report. So you can see clearly what it has been reconciled and what the difference is. So all of those items in reconciliation report related to your transactions transferred from your bank account or imported, and the statement balance doesn't match or what is on Xero. So we need to make sure all of those items has been matched to what they need to be. And you can see there are some payments and some invoices. So we need to make sure we have dealt with this. And I will show you in the course how we can do this. The good point about reconciliation is that Xero is incredibly innovative in terms of matching. So it will try to help you to reconcile it as much faster as possible. For example, when you go into reconciliation tab to reconcile your account, it will mark it in green if it thinks that the invoice actually matches that particular item on the bank account. So by clicking OK, you can easily reconcile this item. Or you can also enter some bank rules, which I will explain how to do in the course. And by entering the bank rules, you can set up similar structure where the Xero will predict in the future what is this transaction. Is it a bank fee or is that something to do with another type of transaction? So it will try to suggest, and by suggesting, making your bank reconciliation faster and more accurate again. So the next point was missing information. So do you remember when we actually add quickly in the contact in the sales invoice or purchase invoice, the information is not fully completed. So what we need to do is then to go into contacts, go into all contacts, and then find in the client and ensure we have all information by editing button, and we enter the address and all full information. This in return will help us in the future to run more efficiently the sales side or purchase side, because information will be dropped down automatically into our sales invoice or purchase invoice, and so we can progress much faster without wasting any time. And the same goes with the services and products. The more information you add into your register, the faster and more accurate information and more neat it will look on your invoices. The next point that we mentioned would be no options for sending multiple invoices, and my recommendation was to print multiple invoices, save them as PDF file, and then send them via your Outlook or any other mail. At this moment, Xero doesn't have another option. You can send single invoices, but not multiple. For example, if I go to Sales Overview, I can easily go to Awaiting Payment. And if it's the same customer, for example, this customer is owing and it's overdue by a few days already, I can print it as PDF, mark as sent, and it's now printing 2 invoices. So once I've printed 2 invoices, you can see the 2 invoices were merged, and now I can simply send it as one document to the customer so they can see. Or you can also send a statement to this customer, or you can send it together, statement and tax invoices, so the customer can see what exactly needs to be paid. Then another point is duplicates. If you entered some information a few times, you can easily merge contacts, or perhaps you're using another software and you need to merge the contacts. You can easily go to your all contacts and click on both of those customers and basically just merge together. There are a large number of various features available, which of course would be more in details described in my course, and I will show you how to add groups as well, and how to fix problems, for example, with not being able to add the same contact with the same name, but for different customers. So for example, we have Joy Blocks and another Joy Blocks living in the same city who we need to serve. And the solution that I found quite useful is to create Joy Blocks JB001 reference, and for another customer with the same name, I will use 002. So there are kind of tweaks and tricks that I have learned through my own experience of working for many years. I will show you how to fix and how to actually use it more efficiently. And last but not least, as I mentioned, if you are a project-based business, I highly recommend you to look into my other course called Workflow Max, and it has an amazing information about how to structurally go from a lead to pointing all the tasks you need to do for the job, to all the way to sending deposit invoice or final invoice and closing the project. So it's incredibly powerful software which can easily integrate into Xero and communicate invoices and quotes between Xero and Workflow Max.